spoilers for this movie that is 40 years old. If you really don't know anything about this movie like myself going into it, you should check it out without knowing anything, because it's a cool watch if you're just discovering all this for the first time, like I am. I'm never going to look at this the same way. Welcome back to Face the Ace. I am Ace, and we lost one of the most influential movie directors probably of all time. One of the GOATs. He's probably on the Mount Rushmore of directors that film students do not shut up about, and I'm talking about the legend David Lynch. To be completely honest, my David Lynch intake is not much. I think the only David Lynch movie I watched is his adaptation of Dune, which I know Dune's got its defenders, but I don't think that really shows what David Lynch was all about, and I think he would have agreed with that. So I couldn't think of a better place to start on my David Lynch journey than his 1977 film, Eraserhead. It is surreal, disturbing, but fascinating. It was the first time I ever watched it, and it was a wild ride. Let's think about 1977 for a second. Hollywood was definitely going through a cultural shift. That year, we saw the release of Star Wars, a blockbuster that redefined what movies could be. But over in the indie world, a very different kind of film was making waves, and that is Eraserhead. It's hard to believe these two films came out the same year because they're from entirely different planets, or God, entirely different dimensions, to be honest. Eraserhead wasn't just a film to David Lynch, it was his passion project. Lynch spent a whopping 5 years making it. You know, these days, a sequel to a Batman movie takes more than that. So, maybe it's not as impressive as you think, Mr. Lynch. Imagine, though, an indie film that takes 5 years to work on. Most studios probably wouldn't even touch that. The production was funded in part by Lynch's paper route. It's a testament to Lynch's ambition and his ability to bring this nightmarish vision to life. I give him a lot of credit. Let's talk about the cast. Jack Nance stars as Henry Spencer, a troubled protagonist with that unforgettable haircut. That dude had that hair for 5 years. Talk about a commitment to your character. Nance was a close collaborator of Lynch and worked with him on other projects, including Twin Peaks. Henry's girlfriend, Mary X, is played by Charlotte Stewart, who's also known for her role on Little House on the Prairie. The small cast and minimalist set design added to the film's claustrophobic and unsettling atmosphere. Every performance felt raw, adding layers to the film's nightmarish quality. Alright, so this was my experience watching Eraserhead. Let's start with one negative I guess I would have on it. It's a little too slow paced for my liking. There were moments where I felt the film was dragging, but I think that's intentional. Lynch wants you to sit in that discomfort, to feel the weight of Henry's world. While it's not exactly my cup of tea in terms of pacing, there were some elements I absolutely loved. First off, the practical effects were incredible. The design of the baby or creature, as the subtitles called it, I don't even know if I could show that on YouTube. Like, we don't even know what that thing's made of. So just look it up for your own if you want to see it. It was so unsettling and realistic. It's no wonder why it is still discussed to this day. Lynch's use of physical handmade effects created an organic quality that CGI could never replicate, adding to the surreal, dreamlike atmosphere. I also really enjoyed the acting. Jack Nance as Henry completely sells the role of a man trapped in his own personal nightmare. His quiet expressions, awkward body language, and those moments of sheer panic, they're unforgettable. And Charlotte Stewart as Mary X brought such a raw, anxious energy to the film. It felt authentic, as if they were living in this bizarre world Lynch created. But what really stuck with me was the theme of parental anxiety, the fear of responsibility, the pressure of caring for something you don't understand, and the overwhelming isolation when you're taking care of something like that. David Lynch captures it all so well. Even if you haven't been a parent like myself, the film's emotional weight hits hard. It's that universal fear of being unprepared for life's biggest challenges. So, if you don't want kids and you want to somehow maybe explain to your partner the anxieties of why you don't want to have a kid, this film might be a good place to show that partner. Another striking theme is the fear of settling down with somebody. Henry's marriage to Mary feels more like a burden than a partnership. Their interactions are tense, awkward, and it just builds up with such unease, especially when they're around Mary's interesting parents. This dynamic makes the already claustrophobic atmosphere of the film even more suffocating. And then there are some surreal visuals in this film. Take the girl in the radiator, for example, singing how everything is fine. Some interpret this as Henry's longing for escape or redemption, a place where his anxieties can't reach him. Then there's the haunting sequence of erasers being made from Henry's head, perhaps symbolizing his fear of being reduced to nothing. Maybe he feels he's going to be more than a tool, stripped of identity and purpose. Honestly, though, it could have been just David Lynch being David Lynch. Let's talk about that closing shot of Henry embracing the girl in the radiator. It feels like a bittersweet resolution. Some see it, Henry is finding peace in some sort of escape. That's for you to interpret. While others do interpret it as a reconciliation with his fears. Either way, it's an unforgettable image that stays with you for long after the credits roll. I kind of just sat there and just kind of stared at the screen for a little bit when the movie ended and kind of just watched the credits for a second. It's one of those films you gotta really digest what you just watched, and I think movies like that will always stand the test of time, no matter how old or how bizarre they are. In many ways, the entire film feels like a walking nightmare. The surreal visuals, the oppressive sound design, and the disjointed narrative make you question whether anything you're watching is real, or simply a projection of Henry's subconscious. It's a masterclass in creating anxiety within the viewer. I am not joking. I almost turned it off because I was feeling a little too anxious watching this movie. I don't think I watched it at a weird time either. I think I watched it like at a, 7 p.m. weeknight, usually when I do watch a normal movie. And I was just feeling very uncomfortable in some parts. And the film, I think, wants you to feel that, though. The relentless industrial sounds, the claustrophobic framing, and the grotesque imagery, they all contribute to a sense of dread that's hard to shake. David Lynch never gives you clear answers, and that's what makes Eraserhead so effective to me. The fear, confusion, and unease that Henry feels bleed into the audience. It's as if we were trapped in his nightmare, grappling with the same unresolved anxieties about parenthood, relationships, and identity. By the end, you're left wondering what was real and what wasn't. But maybe that's the point. The film's deliberate pacing mirrors the anxiety and isolation Henry feels. It's almost like the movie is daring you to sit with your own unease. Eraserhead was released during a time when Hollywood was shifting toward big-budget blockbusters, but Lynch's work stood apart. It's since become a cult classic and is often cited as a major influence on directors. Whether you love it or hate it, there's no denying that Eraserhead is a landmark in indie filmmaking. It's a testament to what's possible when an artist refuses to compromise their vision. And of course, it launched David Lynch's incredible career, making the way for projects like Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, and much more. Lynch's ability to explore the subconscious, to dive into the uncomfortable and the surreal, has left a big mark on film history. His work delves deep into human psyche, transforming abstract fears and desires into vivid, often unsettling visuals. Eraserhead sets the tone for Lynch's entire career, showcasing his fearless approach to storytelling and his ability to craft films that linger in your mind as the credits roll. So that's been my thoughts on Eraserhead. It's not a film I'd watch every weekend, but I'm very glad I experienced it. It's a reminder that art always doesn't have to be so easy to digest. No matter how weird David Lynch's work could be, it's going to leave an impact on you after every viewing. Very sad that a legend like David Lynch is not here anymore, but his work is going to be talked about by me and many others for decades and decades to come. Rest in peace to the great David Lynch, and as he once said, get real. But thank you guys for this another quick edition of Face the Ace. For all you Star Wars fans, I didn't forget about you. We got a Darth Sidious and Count Dooku video coming your way very, very soon. And we got much more content also coming. I also want to start live streaming. I'm thinking of live streaming maybe, classic Battlefront or another movie tie-in game. I think those could be fun things to stream for this channel. Let me know what you guys want to see me do in the gaming world as well, but it's been fun talking about movies and other things so far with you guys, and we got some big projects ahead our way that I will be announcing very soon. Remember to like, comment, subscribe to Face the Ace, and I will see you all in the next video.